Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that honestly gets to the very heart of what education should be all about. We're going to explore this idea of nurturing the whole child, moving way beyond just grades and test scores.
But first, before we dive into the theories, I want you to just pause for a second. And I mean really think about this question. If you could imagine your child all grown up, happy and successful, what does that actually look like? What qualities truly matter?
I'm willing to bet that some of these things popped into your head, right? You want them to be healthy, to be creative, to know how to handle life when it gets tough. You want them to live a life with meaning and just be a good person. And you know what? You're not alone. This is what pretty much every parent wants.
And this is the big connection. All those hopes you have, that's not just some fuzzy feel-good idea. That is the benchmark for a real education. This isn't an after-school special. This is the main event.
So what do we call this approach? There's a name for it, and it's called holistic education. Think of it as the framework for turning all those hopes we just talked about into a concrete plan. Let's break this down a bit. The magic words here are complete human beings. It's this recognition that a kid isn't just a brain that we fill with facts. They have a heart, they have a body, they have a creative spark, they have a sense of right and wrong. Holistic education is about tending to all of those parts, not just the one that gets a grade.
An even simpler way to think about it is like this. You're nurturing 4 key areas. The body, for physical well-being. The mind, for intellectual growth. The heart, for emotional intelligence. And the spirit, for a sense of purpose and values. It's all about balance.
Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do we actually put it into practice? Well, we can break it down even further into what are called the 7 human quotients. These are like the 7 key ingredients for development.
So here they are. You can think of these as the building blocks for creating that complete human being we're talking about. It's a full roadmap, covering everything from smarts and feelings to resilience and creativity. Let's take a quick look at what they mean. Now, what's so cool here is how these first 3 work together. Of course, you've got IQ, being able to solve problems, but then you add EQ, the ability to handle stress and understand your feelings. And then, crucially, you have SQ, or social skills. Because let's be real, you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you can't work with people, your ideas won't go anywhere.
And it keeps going, building out a skill set for life. You've got the creativity quotient for new ideas, the adversity quotient, which is so important. That's about how you handle failure and success. Then health for strong habits. And finally, spiritual quotient, which is really about having a core set of values to guide your decisions.
So why are we talking about this now? Why is this such a big deal? Because the world our kids are inheriting is changing at lightning speed. We're talking AI, globalization. It's a completely different ballgame, and their education has to catch up.
This slide absolutely nails the shift we need to make. The old way was about teaching kids what to learn. Basically, memorize this list of facts. The new world demands that we teach them how to think, how to be curious, how to solve problems we haven't even seen yet, how to adapt.
And that leads to maybe the most important rule of all. There is no one-size-fits-all solution. Every single child is different. They learn differently, they have different strengths, they have different struggles, and our approach has to reflect that uniqueness.
I love this quote because it completely reframes the whole point of education. It's not about finding what's wrong with a child and trying to fix it. It's about seeing them for who they are and nurturing that unique potential. They aren't projects, they're people.
So, when you put it all together, what's the end game? What are we really trying to accomplish here? It's not just about getting good grades for a year. It's about building people who are truly ready for the future.
This chart says it all, doesn't it? Look, can a holistic approach help kids score better on tests? Yeah, absolutely. But that's a side effect. It's not the main goal. The real goal, the much bigger prize, is helping them live better lives.
At the end of the day, that's the whole mission. We have no idea what the world will look like in 20 or 30 years. So the most important things we can give our kids aren't facts they can Google. It's resilience, creativity, empathy, and a strong sense of who they are. That's what being future-ready really means.
So I'll just leave you with this one last thing to think about. When we look at our schools and even our own parenting, we have to ask ourselves this really important question. Is our goal just to raise good students? Or are we aiming for something bigger? Are we trying to raise great humans?